Hello, final two tasks of the second AAT sample assessment coming up. Right, task 7, a 20 marker, which will include writing, 12 or 14 marks worth of writing, and it's on analysing business performance, key performance indicators. So, Sportronics Limited is a company specialising in providing sporting holidays across the UK. Been operating for 6 years and had seen significant increases in profitability each year. This year, however, a major new competitor entered the market, offering similar holidays at a lower price. Sportronics Limited is now looking at how it can evaluate its performance in this more competitive environment. The table below shows the measures that they have chosen to use to evaluate performance, together with the results for the previous year. Right, so these figures, so data for the current year is shown. Right, so these must be the previous year's figures. So average spend per customer, 946. Proportion of total customers that are repeat. Proportion of total destinations offered that are new. Proportion of total destinations that are available to book on the website. Average customer feedback score, 4.44 out of 5, pretty good. Staff turnover, 9%. Got data for the current year, which we can also get to in the references section, which will make life a little easier. There it is. And then we are being asked to calculate these 6 performance indicators. So notice when I push that over there, by the way, those numbers are still there. Look, it's quite user friendly actually. So I can squeeze that there and still see that data and be able to type in here as well. Right, so the average spend per customer. So I need the total sales for the year divided by the number of customers. It's an average spend of £885.25. I'm doing 2 decimal places where appropriate. Proportion of customers who are repeat customers. Right, so to do that, I need repeat customers. So what have I got? I've got new customers, 4663. Total number of new customers. Right, so if I do 5756, my total customers, minus 4663, that will give me my new customers, and then divide that by my total number of customers and times by 100, so 18.99. Proportion of total destinations offered that are new for the current year. So new destinations, here we are, so I've got 6 out of a total of 106. So 6 divided by 106 times 100. Proportion of total destinations that are available to book on the website. So 66 divided by 106 times 100. And then the average feedback score. So this data has been presented in a strange way. Here we go. So we've got a total feedback score of 25,844. If we divide that by the total number of customers, we get an average of 4.49 out of 5. Pretty good. And staff turnover, so that's the staff leaving. So 7 out of 45. So 7 divided by 45 times 100 is 15.56. Right, so let's get rid of that. Actually, let's get these indicators here. So that was last year's, and I've just calculated this year's figures. So let's just look at them side by side. So we've got average spend per customer has fallen. Proportion of total customers who are repeat has fallen, it's got worse. Proportion of total destinations offered that are new has got better. There may be a reaction to the competitor. Proportion of total destinations available to book on the website vastly improved. Again, could be a response to the competitor. Average customer feedback score has improved slightly, but staff turnover has got worse because you want to try and keep hold of your staff. So we've got a bit of a feel for what's going on. You have then got a 10-mark question. So the first AAT sample assessment, very similar. A big analyse the performance based on some key performance indicators. Hardly any of these are our sort of typical financial ratios that we like to churn out. Right, so analysing the performance, I'm not going to type this out because the AAT sort of suggested answer to this one is quite clear. To get the high marks, it says at least 5 ratios are considered. To gain the highest mark, each of the ratios must have a minimum of 2 relevant comments. Right, so they're looking for you to go through each of these and basically make a couple of relevant comments on each one, which like 2 times 5 is 10 and gives you your 10 marks. So thinking about average spend per customer. So we saw that the average amount per customer has reduced. That would be a relevant comment, just describing what's happened. You could say, obviously, this is bad news for the business. What's the possible reason? I'm just reading from the AAT suggested answer here. It's very good. Likely to be due to price pressure from the competitor. Could be that some of the newer destinations are cheaper. Proportion of total customers that are repeat customers. So we've got 18.99 there. I thought it was. Oh, so that's got worse. So it was 27%, and now it's 18.99. So not so many repeat purchase. So they're likely to be sort of dabbling with the competitor here. So the feedback is still good, but they've obviously got more choice. Not an awful lot else you can say there. The AAT answer had said a niche market, so returning customers is key to success. Proportion of total destinations offered that are new. We saw an improvement there, so it went up from, what was it, 3% to 5.66%, so an improvement on the previous year. So easy mark, just stating it's got, it's better. Important to be attracting new customers, as we said, in response to the competitor. Website offering, considerable improvement there as well. That's going to make booking easier, and really has to happen to keep us ahead of the game. They have made an interesting point on the AAT mark scheme there. Do customers for this type of holiday want to discuss destinations face to face? So maybe, we think, yeah, technology great, but, there could be a downside there as well. Average customer feedback, performance has improved marginally. It's a very high score out of 5, both years. So although the financial performance is declining, customers remain very happy. Ultimately, customer satisfaction is going to be key to them coming back and using this business. And then finally, staff turnover, significant increase in the amount of staff leaving. Could this be due to extra pressures of trying to sort of stay competitive? Maybe the other business is poaching some of our better staff. So it's just putting forward sort of possible suggestions for these changes. I think that's quite an accessible question to be able to score well in. And then finally, identify one performance indicator used by Sportronics Limited for each element of a balanced scorecard. So absolutely vital that you know your 4 perspectives, which are financial, customer, innovation and learning, and internal. So financial, it's saying identify one performance indicator for each element. So this is still quite applied. So a financial performance indicator could be the average spend per customer, anything to do with the money. The customer, the repeat customer performance indicator, what did they call it exactly? The proportion of total customers who are repeat customers, that would be the customer perspective. If they're coming back, they must be happy. The innovation and learning will be the new destinations. We're kind of just going down in order here, aren't we? Proportion of total destinations offered that are new for the current year. And then internal perspective, that's sort of how well the operations are going. That would be the proportion of total destinations available to book on the website. Right, so we could just, it's only 4 marks, so you would just literally match them up with your knowledge of the 4 perspectives. And then finally, task 8, 12 marks. So this is where you have your statistical technique tasks. So performance evaluation using return on investment. So return on investment, how much profit is generated relative to either the average or the total investment. It's one of our must-know formulas for this exam. So it does allow comparison, yes, but can lead to dysfunctional behaviour. Yes, because when we were sort of learning about this, we saw that what the manager of the department might conclude could be different from what the company overall might conclude, and therefore action. So that would be an example of dysfunctional behaviour. T Limited has 2 divisions. Division A makes component X that it can either sell externally or transfer to Division B. Division B would like to order 10,000 units. So this is a situation where you've got one company, but the different divisions are kind of almost operating like separate businesses within that company. And therefore they have to decide like at what price will goods be transferred. So the following information is available. So Division A can make 60,000 units. It can only sell 44,000 externally. They want to order 10,000, so that still only takes us up 44 external sales, 54,000. So they've got capacity to do this. The external selling price is £34, but they can obviously only sell 44,000 units at that price. The cost of production is 20, but the marginal cost of production, the variable cost part, is only £12. The fixed costs are being incurred anyway, so we can exclude those from our consideration. So what should be the minimum per unit transfer price for the 10,000 units? Well, basically, they've got the capacity, the fixed costs are covered. So as long as they're getting at least £12 to the nearest whole pound, it says, so just like that. Division A are going to be happy. They're covering their costs. I mean, I suppose it should be like 12.01 technically, but they're covering their costs. They've got capacity. Yeah, Yeah, £12. That's it. Q Limited has two divisions, A and B. Until now, performance evaluation has only been at company level, but it has been decided to change this and look at divisional performance. The information below shows the performance of Division A for the last year. So we've got sales minus variable costs minus controllable fixed costs is a profit of 520,000. We've then got non-controllable fixed costs to give a final profit, and we've got divisional assets of 6.5 million. Cost of capital is 7%. So we've got to calculate the return on investment and the residual income for Division A. So return on investment is how much profit is being generated from the investment. And so the question is, do we use the profit before the non-controllable costs or the profit after the non-controllable costs? Well, if these are outside of their control, they're just sort of being dumped on the division, I don't think we can include them in a performance measure. So we need to go to the profit before the non-controllable cost, 520, divide that by the 6.5 million, and then multiply by 100 to turn it into a percentage. So that would be 8%. Don't tell me about decimal places, so that should be fine. Residual income, so another must-know formula, is the profit. So again, we'll use the profit before the non-controllable costs. Subtract the investment at the cost of capital. So basically saying that's what it's cost us to generate that amount of profit. So as long as we get a positive number, then it's looking good. So 520 subtract 6.5 million multiplied by 7%, which gives us 65,000 of residual income. Right, so the idea of that is after like financing it, which is the 7% times the investment, you're still left with 65,000. Division B's results have now been produced and show a return on investment of 10%, that's higher, and a residual income of 63, which is lower. So return on investment, obviously 10% is better than that, so B is better. Residual income, A is better. Identify whether each of the following statements is true or false. Investing in any project with a positive residual income should always increase shareholder wealth. Right, so shareholder wealth is about profits. Residual income is about profits. Residual income is basically saying, well, what profit is there minus the sort of the cost of sort of having the money tied up in the investment. So as long as you've got a positive residual income, then yes, you are contributing to the wealth of the shareholders. True. Investing in any project with a positive return on investment should always increase shareholder wealth. So return on investment. Right, so a return on investment is saying a positive return on investment. Well, you could have a return on investment of 1%, which is positive. But if the company's cost of capital is, as here, 7%, then it's not good enough. It's got to be higher than the cost of capital to be a good idea. So that one will be false, which concludes the paper.